All right. I believe we are so close to a quorum that it's worthy of saying we have a quorum. Of course, I don't ever want you to go forward at a meeting without a quorum if it's bad, okay? But we're going to have our congregational meeting right now, and so let's begin with prayer. Lord, what a joy to be part of this church. What an amazing gift to be under your covering here, to see you move powerfully through us, to us. We ask that tonight, right now, you would bless us with that joyful presence and that purposeful attitude that we might get your kingdom accomplished. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. We have some annual reports up here. If anybody wants them, I have about 30 of them. Okay? So if you didn't get one, it's on the website, About Us, part of the webpage. So if you're interested in information that you don't have at the moment, you can find it on the website. I'm going to walk us through the congregational meeting. We're going to look at the annual budget for 2015. We're going to review and receive the 2016 budget, and then we're going to hopefully get the terms of call for the pastor voted in a favorable manner. We had a great year in 2015. Okay, we had lots of highlights. We had 105 new members. We added 3 new staff people. We reduced the debt by quite a bit. We surpassed our budget. We launched a new website that lots of people from out of town comment on our website. We started a new men's ministry, and it's really going strong. Tim Johnson got us a new bus. We got new missions to Haiti and Kenya. Our Vacation Bible School is always just such an amazing ministry through Joanne Tennant. We redesigned the bulletin, which some people don't like, but okay, change happens. Our preschool was hurting, and now that we have a waiting list, it's doing really well. Carol started a Caring for the Caregiver support group where so many lives got healed and touched. Our youth ministry program is doing fantastic under Matt Didway's transitional leadership here. Pictorial directory. Clark did a lot of technical enhancements, and we had a record attendance for Christmas Eve. It was a lot of fun. We added a service, and we didn't know if 5 of us were going to be there, and we ended up having 400 of us there. So just real exciting. So it was a good year, all right? It was a very good year, and lots of spiritual growth, lots of... for me, I get this kind of stuff is exciting, but I get to see people's lives touched, get to see healings, transformations, all kinds of amazing interpersonal things that God does in people's lives. And so for me, there's a whole other part of the ministry that is exciting. You can move to the next page, and you'll see the Community Hope Center. Mary, you want to go ahead and take the lead there?
Afternoon. So just a reminder, our mission at the Community Hope Center is to try to provide assistance to anyone who walks into the door. We have had just a wonderful year. We served about 6,000 individuals since our open, and that looks like 993 families in our community. And we were able, because we've been really trying to focus on housing a lot, we've been able to house 273 people. So we're very excited about that. Our food pantry, which you guys are such an instrumental part of with the donations that you bring in every single week in the Narthex, we have fed 4,576 heartbeats with the food that we have received at the Community Hope Center. We continue to stick to our model, which is that we don't reinvent the wheel. We partner with as many people in our community as possible to provide the most effective and efficient services. So we partnered with 33 partner agencies and then 22 partner churches. And then last year, the Community Hope Center had an operating budget of around $355,000. We raised that and exceeded it, and we're also able to put $100,000 over into our building fund campaign with the hopes of paying off our building by the end of this year. And that is it for our highlights.
Thank you. Any questions for Mary?
Yes, sir. So we have a mortgage on the building. We bought it in February of 2014 with a 3-year balloon payment. So that will be coming due at the end of February 2017. We bought the building for $400,000. We paid about $200,000 down on the building. We owe about $150,000 right now, roughly. Okay. Yes.
Any other questions? Fantastic ministry that Mary's got going on right now. All right, let's talk about 2016. We're going to work backwards on the list. We want to get our life groups going, and so everybody here, I want you to participate in the 40 days of Lent and the Gospel of John. This is going to be exciting. I need leaders. That's what I need. I need people willing to facilitate the video and the conversation. So if I had 10, 15 of you willing to open up your house and your home and your DVD, and I got the sign-up sheet right here with Jeffrey Mowen. I believe that if we get all connected, that you're going to see a synergy. There's going to be lots of people meeting and experiencing and sharing Jesus Christ, rather than coming to church and doing our own little isolated things. So many of you are connected already, but to make this work, I need folks to facilitate some groups. So please step forward and help us out there. We have an exciting men's ministry that's rolling. We have little pockets of a great women's ministry. We'd like to focus in on a fresh, younger women's ministry. Mary and Kristen put together a Bible study a season ago, and we'd really like to reach out to that component in our church. We're talking about getting an app together. So those of you who use apps on your phone, we're going to have one for the Community Presbyterian Church. Okay? And it'll be $2, one for the church and one for me. Just trying to get it, trying, okay? I don't even know how apps work, except that we're going to have one, okay? And I'm going to put the information on there, and Clark's going to make it happen along with everybody else's help. So we're excited about stepping into the new technology age, okay? We've had 2 exciting developments. Becky Bird teamed up with Lois Letcher, and we've launched into a snowbird ministry that's just fantastic. Last week, we had 56 people watching a movie here, sitting room only in the other room over there watching TV. So great ministry happening there. We're trying to get a new ministry for senior saints, all right? Maybe we'll get a better title for that, but in the meantime, you're senior saints, okay? For you to get connected and have some friendships and some special places to feed and seek and serve the Lord. I am thinking about hiring a connections director tomorrow, all right? So if she passes her 4th interview, we might have this person. Somebody that is going to take visitors, call them up, find out how to connect them to people in the church, go after folks who haven't been coming and saying, hey, where are you? How can I get you reconnected? Take new members and assimilate them into fresh small groups. We need somebody to do this work of implementing and assimilating everybody we can into the family life of the congregation. So that's what they're going to do. That's why we're hiring them. They're not going to be an associate pastor. They're not going to be somebody taking stuff off of my plate. They're going to be somebody that will take all those people that come to church and don't find any way to get connected and then fall away, we're going to get them connected. Okay? So just so you'll know, that's what we're after. That's what we're hoping to do. Any questions about this potential hire? Well, let's talk about the biggie. We're out of space. We need to build something out on the corner. And we have amazing plans that Jeffrey drew up. We've got a great team that has worked hard together to put a campaign in place. We need $4 million. And the bad news is nobody won the lottery. But somebody came into my office yesterday and surprised me tremendously. Because, I'm obviously praying for one of you to have a wonderful weekend in Vegas, or praying for somebody to come along and pay it off, and our member said, well, that wouldn't be any good, because then we wouldn't be able to participate, and we wouldn't have any ownership in our new church facility. And I was just so surprised by that, because I was trying to do it the easy way. And I forgot that when you and I sacrifice and set aside money and are willing to invest in furthering God's kingdom, that there's power and there's blessings and there's joy and there's a unification in our ministry and our vision, and we get to experience God in a fresh, new way. Wow. That's what we need to do. That's what we're going to do. Our session voted to go forward with a capital campaign. And so we're going to try to raise as much money as we can to build a new facility. Now, we had a meeting about this a while back, but I'm going to try my best to remember things, to answer questions right now. We have 2 phases. We want the Christian education part, and we want the life center part, which is a huge room with the stage and tech and opportunity for all kinds of events to take place. We want to double our preschool, which will double our revenue, so that we're going to make about $100,000 a year that will go towards paying off the building. Okay? We want to add Sunday school space, because Joanne Tennant's programs are just overflowing, and she has to put a cap on how many children can experience the Jesus ministries that we have here. We have space to grow our youth group, which, a couple weeks ago, Matt had 67 kids in that room. All right? That's just a lot of kids. And so there's more kids willing to enter into a relationship with Jesus. That's why we want to build this building. There's no desire to build a building, and it just seems like a big headache to me. But we're supposed to get a headache over how can we get more people into a relationship with Jesus. That's what the Lord wants us thinking about, and that's what the building's going to be all about. We hope to get it all done. It's about $4 million. We don't want to borrow more than 1 times our budget. We'd like to not borrow anything. All of you who've gone through the Dave Ramsey class know what I'm talking about. Although managing debt is a way many thriving congregations operate. But we definitely need to raise some cash, and we hope to do the entire project and not just one piece of it. We can do it in phases. But what I want from you is I want you to pray about this. I would like you to add on your prayer list every day, as you pray for your kids, as you pray for your spiritual life, as you pray for whatever's on your list, that God would cause that facility to get built so that our church can expand our reach and touch more lives. It's the only goal, to bring glory to God. Okay? That's why we want to do it. We need to do it. We're out of space. We cannot do ministries here because there's no rooms. Carol's soul care ministry has all the rooms when Joanne's not using all the rooms. And then we want to do the men's ministry, and that's a problem. And then we wanted to add the senior saints ministry, and we had to put it up for 3 weeks because there wasn't any room. And the 56 snowbirds were all uncomfortably packed in the St. Andrew's room, and we're just out of room. So we need to do it. Why does it cost so much? Because we live in Celebration. That's why. So it's pretty much the cost anywhere you go anyways right now. I think it's good to be a builder at this time of history. But you know what? It's good to be the church. And I want to thank you about the way you made the budget happen in 2015. I know I'm going ahead of myself here, but wow. You really stepped forward and blew my mind at the way you gave and supported and caused us to be able to be in the black in such a way that we can be aggressive in our ministries. Okay? And so our newest plan is pretty aggressive. So that's why we're going to do what we're going to do. We have a contingency plan. If we don't get $4 million, we know how we're going to go about it. We figured out how not to get ourselves in debt, not how to get creamed by making bad decisions. We've really thought this thing through for a number of years, and I feel real confident going forward. And we're hiring a capital campaign starting tomorrow. And friends, I'm going to be knocking on your doors, okay? So it's all about building the kingdom of God, all right? That's all it is. Nothing less. And that's a pretty serious calling. Any questions for me or about the campaign? All right. We have the new elder of finance, David Hume. So be nice to him, all right?
Check. All right. Thanks, Pastor William. I did want to introduce myself. I'm Dave Hume. I'm the newly ordained finance elder as of a week or so. But I like to be conversational, so if you have questions, let me know. I've got a couple of the answers here, and I know the people that probably do have the answers if I don't know it. But so I like to make sure that everybody is comfortable knowing that you have good stewards of your donations and your contributions. To that end, just a little bit of background about myself. I've been in Celebration with my family since 2008. And I have a background in finance. I have an MBA, and I did my undergrad. So I'm very comfortable around numbers. So this was not too much of a challenge when I was approached by Pastor William to take on this role. I do it with enthusiasm, with great honor. So hopefully quite a long-term relationship I get to build and continue my fellowship with the church in just a different capacity. So I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and please, if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to give me a call or email me, because the finance part of things, I want to make sure provides William and the church with the necessary resources to do what we want to do. To that end, make sure that you're comfortable with what we're doing. If you have questions, please let us know. But I'm glad everybody's out here today to learn more about what we're doing and how we're going to get there. William briefly touched on it. Again, a hearty congratulations to our congregation for fulfilling our goal of revenues and fundraising to help the church keep moving forward. We had generous donations that met and exceeded our goal last year, and as a finance elder and our finance committee, which assists me, our commitment is to make sure we're entrusted with your funds to provide open and honest, transparent communication so that you guys always know where we stand at any given moment. All right, I'm going to actually get into some of the numbers now, so if you have any questions, again, if you can't see it, I'll kind of explain where they all come from, but an overview of how things went for last year, really positive. We had a budget of a little bit over $1.1 million. The income that we actually got exceeded that. We got $1.3 million. This is an overall consolidation. There's actually 3 types of funds the church uses. Our operating fund is the majority of it, but we also have a separate mission fund and a building fund. So all of these are consolidated in this number. You can see the expense that we had also this year, which was 1.2, a little bit under 1.3, which gave us a net, I'll say, income of $25,170. The other part of this equation is how we are set up financially is the cash that we have in the bank and our reserves. I state there that we have a cash balance of a little bit under $400,000. That's made up of a couple of other funds. One is one that the board kind of designates at their discretion, and that's about 100,000 of it. And then there's 51,000, which is actually designated for us. It's individuals or entities that say, all right, here's our contribution. We want it to go to X or Y, and those are designated for that, and they can be used for anything other than that. The other thing to point out is that with those positive variances, you can see on the operating side that the one primary reason for having it lower was a delay in hiring some personnel that William already touched on. We see that going forward as integrated into our budget, and we have it budgeted for next year, so we're in good shape as far as that's concerned. And I'll pause briefly in case there's any questions. Don't be shy. The Hope Center is not, it's separate, but there is the part that the church does allocate on the mission side, I believe. Is that right?
Right, so there is, so my budget is not included in here. There is a mission budget in the church where part of that support goes to help the Hope Center. And then any other designated donations, those get sent directly to the Hope Center. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Good. Did everybody get that, by the way, in regards to the Hope Center? Should have given you the microphone. Sorry about that. All right. With that, this is exciting stuff, isn't it? I can tell everybody's at the edge of their seats. All right. Looking forward, we do have a budget that was about 3% more than what we allocated for last year. Okay, so nothing big there to report. And again, I mentioned that the entire budget has separate accounts. We have operating, mission, and the building fund. And the 2015 income that you saw is actual. Doesn't include the $139,000 of mission income not budgeted. It would be 1.1 without that because it's kind of consolidated. And again, you'll see that the increase is 3.6%, so we're trying to stay in line with some reasonably known or accommodated inflation figures, is where that boils down to. Questions? Go ahead.
The budgeted amount for 2016 is below the actual expenses for 2015 by a considerable amount. Is that right? So we had an expense of almost $1.3 million. I'm just curious as to how we're able to do that.
I think we put the budget together in October, and then we had an amazing November, December.
Well, and also, because it's I'm Michelle Swanson, too. I'm the accountant here. Doug, one of the reasons is we combined the building fund in, and we ended up authorizing a larger expenditure on building for our wonderful booth videos, and we had a number of additional, almost $50,000 worth of worship equipment upgrades that are not going to be recurring. So that normal budget for the building fund is about $30,000 on various, computer upgrades and things like that. So that was an authorized additional expenditure. So, and we were very blessed because of that. We were blessed since we did authorize that additional expense. God kind of blessed us and covered us by having additional income in the operating side. So it's kind of nice how it all washed out. So, and we ended up even still positive by $25K. So.
Yeah, and I can say from my perspective is that we want to be very conservative with our projections for income, and we do that through the campaign for the pledge cards that we get. So, I mean, our crystal ball is foggy. We're not sure exactly what the income's going to be, but that's our best guess. Anybody else? All right. Shall we proceed to your favorite part?
Yes. Love you.
I like his app idea, though. We might have to work on that, make that part of next year's. So, again, been here, officially like a week, and they're like, hey, first thing you got to do is come out and do the congregational meeting. Oh, by the way, we're going to build a building, so you probably want to be on that committee as well. So, but this is a very important part of what we do. And I think we have a tremendous talent with Pastor William. I've heard, and I've been here again since 2008, and it's somebody that we cherish and want to remain on board. And this isn't going to be much different than what you saw last year, is what it boils down to. It's the same line items, same figures, with a 3% increase. Again, with essentially your rate of inflation, which is the same metric we used for the other parts of the budgeting process. Now, I do want to open up for any questions for anyone that this might be unfamiliar or have questions about it. But our role today is to present this and then for you to look it over and then to vote on it. And if you can't read it, I can help spout out some numbers. No, that's why I planted you there, to help. For that, no, we did not. I think we hit the exact amount for that this year. But
what happens is actually we're not even. This one doesn't show it, but at the very bottom you can see pension, medical. We pay roughly 36% of William's effective salary to the Board of Pension to cover his pension, but also all of his medical expenses. The only thing that is not covered in there is dental, and just William's family decided to do dental on their own. So we're basically taking that, what we would be paying for premium, and that piece of it actually didn't change. So it's actually pretty common. We have a couple people that do take advantage of our dental plan, and that doesn't really change very often. The medical side, it's been significant changes. So medical for William changed about 1.5% over last year. So from 2014 to 2015, it was about a 1.5. So. For just dental. So in that 4,217 is a little bit of money it's some money for dental for his family, and then it is some additional money if he wants to help pay for some professional administrative fees for like financial consulting, things like that. So we just kind of say, here's this money, you can kind of spend it as if his actual dental goes a little bit higher, he just takes, that's what we've allocated as a church. So it's just saying, here's a help. Now, if he chooses to go on dental at some point in the future, we would reduce that amount. I think the dental portion is a couple K. So we would reduce that, and then it would be included in his other benefits that we pay to the Board of Pension. So that answers your question.
Thank you.
Could you explain the annual budget, the bonus, Did he get paid a bonus this year for 2000?
Yes. The bonus is in regards to the housing loan, essentially, if I'm saying that right, when he originally came on board. So the bonus is a direct offset of that loan payment for his housing when he was installed and he bought his house here in Celebration. And that has an expiration date, is my understanding.
Yeah, yeah, actually, Paul would probably be the best person. Paul, you want to come answer that question? Paul was kind of on the committee for the bonus a couple of years ago.
I'll let you answer. This is the second time. Our previous pastor, now don't laugh at me, I hear you back there, but he remembers the first time this was presented. It gets pretty complicated, and it was confusing for folks. But one thing we recognize is that we want our pastor to live in Celebration, and we recognize that the cost of living celebration is probably double what it is elsewhere. So we've had, for the second time, is that it's very difficult for them to come into our community and be able to afford to buy a house. So what we've done, both with Patrick Risley before and then with William, is provide a loan that helps them meet their down payment, for 20% down payment on a house. And it's roughly what is a 2,000 square foot house in Celebration. And then what we've set up is because I hate to say this, but pastors are not really good about managing their money. So we have to set up a system where when he pays his loan to us at the end of the year, that's the same time when he gets his bonus. So in effect, he gets his bonus. He pays us back, and I think in the past couple of years there's been $2,000 or $3,000 left over. But it was really set up to help him to be able to get into a house here in Celebration. And that's also, just to fill in too, his salary is also, if you look, what we do is we look at other salaries for ministers in Central Florida. And you look at it by size of church. And to be frank, it is higher for the size of church by about 10%. But that 10%, again, we knew going in, that reflects the higher cost of the mortgage then. So really, it's, as you look at it, you've got the salary and the housing. His salary is comparable to what other ministers make for the same size of church. His housing is about $10,000 larger, and that reflects, just the higher cost of living here in Celebration. So, does that explain that?
Thanks, Paul. Not the last time I'll lean on his experience. Any other? Go ahead, Jeffrey. I believe that's 10 years from 10-year loan. And it's been 7 years. No. The loan was initiated 4 years ago? Okay. It's
Seems like compared to the church that we were in Ohio, he does twice as much. He preaches twice as much. He has Thursday night services, teaches Sunday school.
He does. He does an incredible amount for the church. I agree with you. And
Maybe 5% instead of 3%.
so some people don't get any increases. I understand it. Right. So 3% is a pretty healthy inflation index these times. Good, Paul.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kim. I'm the worship elder. I think that he spends such great quality time in bringing people to the church that the connections director is going to help us retain those folks, right? And then we're going to be able to grow our body that way. So, is that fair? Yeah.
Thanks, Kim. For this year, that's correct. Any further discussions? All right. Then next slide, we have the terms of call, discussion, and vote. So I guess we have to call a vote. We have an initial and a second for whoever's taking minutes. All right, do we just all in favor? Is that how it works? All right, let's do it. Further discussion? Any discussion, any other further comments? If not, I'll close the discussion portion of the program. And we're ready to vote. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, it seems unanimous. Man, you guys took it easy on me for my first one. All right. Piece of cake. Again, don't forget we do have the annual reports here with much, much more detail than I was able to go through today. We'll bring William back. All right. I set him up for you.
Thank you. Well then, this is going to go down in the annals of a quick meeting, a good meeting. So I send you out with these two thoughts. Let's do Lent together, okay? Please let your schedule be inconvenienced and your leadership available. And let's build the new facility, and let's do it through prayer. Prayer moves the hand of God, okay? Of course, the finance team wants me to say and through the pocketbook. So let's start with prayer. Let's have fun watching God do something incredible through us. I think you're incredible, and I'm so honored to be your pastor, and I'm excited about 2016. So go forth with His Spirit upon you, His calling before you, knowing whose you belong to. You belong to Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.